Boundaries are really important for a healthy relationship. Usually, if you are in a difficult relationship, you have problems with your boundaries. You have difficulty setting boundaries because the dysfunctional, difficult, manipulative, narcissistic, abusive, toxic person doesn't respect your boundaries, doesn't pushes back, tries very hard to get you to back down. So boundaries are hard to set and follow through with, but they're also hard to figure out. So that figuring out your boundary is the first step. You have to be strong and you have to feel clear and you have to feel that what you're setting as a boundary is the right thing to do. And that can be really difficult because there's a lot of variables in our dysfunctional relationships. So I want to give you a kind of a boundary checkup. And I'm going to give you a very easy way of looking at your boundary to be able to answer the question, is this the right boundary? And there is no set like black and white boundary list, like in this situation, this is what you do. I can't say you have to leave a toxic marriage. You have to kick out a child who is older than 18 living in your house, not working. You have to set this particular boundary with a spouse that is abusing drugs or alcohol or adult child or that is using drugs and alcohol. I mean, there no, or this is how you have to cut off a relationship with a parent who is still narcissistic and toxic to you. Absolutely not. That's not the way it works. You get to figure out your boundary for you, what works right in your life that takes in your circumstances, your abilities, your the person's circumstances, your beliefs, your values. I mean, it is just not something somebody else can tell you to do. So you've got to come to that place. You've got to come to the place where you think no matter, what situation you're in, if you know you need to set a boundary, this is how I'm going to figure it out. And when you're ready, unless there's a timeline and you're pushed up against a situation where you've got to decide right now, you get to take your time. So here is the scripture, Romans 13:10. Love does no harm to its neighbor. Thinking about it again. Love does no harm to its neighbor. Now, who's your neighbor? Jesus said your neighbor is anyone that you're dealing with, right? Anybody that you have in your life. Also, you are to love your neighbor as yourself, meaning it's okay to love yourself. Ephesians 5, when talks about men loving their wives, I believe it's 29 and 30, talks about that you are to love your wife as Christ loved the church. And it says that you are to love her treat her the same as your own body because no one neglects their body. That supports self-care very clearly because no one neglects their body. Didn't tell the husbands, oh, neglect yourself and love your wives. Neglect yourself, lay yourself down, give everything to your wife. No, he said, love your wife like you love your own body, the same. So we take care of ourselves. Okay, so basically, the neighbor is yourself and the other person, of course, and the relationship. The relationship is kind of like a third entity in the relationship because the relationship has its dynamic. And if you're in a marriage or in a relationship with a parent or a sibling or a neighbor or a friend or a boss or a child, or even an ex-spouse, then the relationship has some value and the relationship should be taken into consideration. So love meaning the way that you should respond, the way that you should treat the person, the way that you should act, does no harm to its neighbor. Harm means to hurt, and to cause harm means to cause some type of damage, some type of hurt to the person. So let's talk about this. How do you know if a boundary is okay? First of all, is your boundary helping you take care of yourself? Yes or no? Is it helping you protect yourself? Is this relationship abusive? Do you walk away from an encounter with this person exhausted, wrung out, with high blood pressure, with your heart pounding, with yourself so stressed for the rest of the day you can hardly do anything, with feeling bad about yourself, with feeling super angry toward the person because of the way they treat you? How can you take care of yourself? Are you being abused? Are you being hurt physically? Not okay. You're not taking care of yourself. Are you taking care of yourself financially, or are you giving money to someone who is basically using it for drugs or to be irresponsible in their own spending, and now you're making up for their credit card payment, or you're paying their apartment rent so they don't kicked out because they didn't manage their money, or they're literally buying drugs? How, is it, if you're doing that and you're shorting yourself financially, you're not taking care of yourself. Okay. You would be putting yourself in financial jeopardy for something else that's not, you know, you've got to look at how is this affecting me? How is the relationship affecting me? So the number one, are your boundaries helping you take care of yourself? If the answer is yes, then that's an okay boundary. That's a healthy boundary, because that's one of the purposes of boundaries, is to protect yourself, is to put distance between yourself and somebody that is harming you or doing something that hurts you. Are your boundaries influencing the other person for good? I wish I could make the people in my life do what they need to do when I know that they're harming themselves, or they're harming our relationship, or they're harming me. I wish I could, but I can't. You can't. We can't make anyone do what we want them to do, and we're not required to scripturally, but we are required to influence them for good. Okay, we are to be salt, we are to be light in our relationships, we are to shine light onto darkness. We're to shine light into evil. We're to shine light into wrongdoing. So, are your boundaries influencing the other person for good? Well, they are, if you are drawing a line that causes better things to happen in the relationship, or that you're letting the person know, I can't support this. So, influence. Are they influencing the person for good? If they are, check. Guess what? Good boundary. You're influencing the person for good. That could be your child who is needs to buy a car on their own and make payments to learn responsibility, instead of you just handing the child a new car where they learn no responsibility. Okay, so you can answer that question for in any boundary that you're doing. Are your boundaries keeping you from enabling? What is enabling? Enabling is giving a person the means to continue to do something that is harming themselves, the relationship, or you, or even someone else. So, are you giving the person the means to continue their drug habit? Are you lying so that they get away with being irresponsible? Are you giving them money to continue to pay for their drug habit, or not pay their bills and spend wrongly? Are you covering up behavior that's happening that is wrong and hurtful to themselves and you? Then that's enabling. So, are you enabling? Is it, or are your boundaries keeping you from enabling? If the answer is yes, then check. Okay, that's a good boundary. Next one is, are your boundaries keeping you from getting hurt? Okay, boundaries, sometimes you have to, it's like putting a wall of protection around you. You are allowed to protect yourself emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, relationally, financially. So you might need a boundary that keeps you from getting hurt in one of those areas. That could be separating your finances with a spouse who spends crazy. It could be with a spouse that takes your money and keeps it from you and then doesn't allow you to have access to it. It could be um, having conversations with somebody who's abusive to you. It could be putting yourself in an emotionally vulnerable place with somebody who continues to hurt you and exploit you and take advantage of you. It could be engaging in a conversation with somebody who's super manipulative and will end up manipulating you to do something. It could be in a job where they're continuing to uh, take advantage of your time and your efforts and underpaying you and treating you unfairly, or there's abuse on the job, whatever. It could be in any relationship. It could be a friend who continues to exploit you and take advantage of you. So you ask yourself, are your boundaries keeping you from getting hurt? If the answer is yes, check, that's a good boundary. The fifth one is, are your boundaries keeping other people from being hurt? Now, this could come into play when you have a situation where you have grandchildren that are getting hurt, or your own children that are getting hurt, or somebody else's children that are getting hurt, that you may have to step up and be honest about what's going on with somebody and talk to someone else about it. Or it could be in a family situation, or could be speaking up to a friend who's in an abusive relationship and having a boundary about how you will deal with that when she continues to call you and tell you what's going on, but doesn't do anything to make a change and leave. All kinds of times. So you're going to ask yourself, are your boundaries keeping other people from getting hurt? If the answer is yes, check. That's a good boundary. Now, if that doesn't apply in your situation, don't worry about that one. So here's the 5 questions. Are your boundaries helping you take care of yourself? Number 2, are your boundaries influencing the other person for good? Number 3, are your boundaries preventing you from enabling? Number 4, are your boundaries keeping you from getting hurt? Number 5, are your boundaries keeping others from getting hurt? Are they protecting others? Those are 5 questions you can ask yourself in this boundary checkup to see if your boundary is okay and your own boundaries is doing what boundaries should do. Memorize this scripture. I love this scripture for helping remind me about having wisdom for what is right in my relationships. Love does no harm to its neighbor. Jesus said, love one another. Our love is what is supposed to show that we are different as Christians, but sometimes love has to be a tough love. Sometimes love has to be a love that stands up against what is wrong and needs a boundary. So boundaries are scriptural, boundaries are okay. Hard part is figuring out what does your boundary need to be. So I hope this will help you figure out your boundaries. I hope it's a nice little thing that you can do that will give you confidence in your boundaries, because when you set a boundary, you need to set it when you're ready to follow up, when you mean it, when you're clear on it. And that is sometimes the hardest part of setting a boundary. So thank you for watching. I hope you will watch more. I hope you'll get my books, look at them, take my classes. They're so good. They help you. I have a class that is, and a study. You can do all my studies on Zoom in a group with other people that have discussion. It helps you apply, it helps you to grow, but they're also available as self-study where you get the videos and the study guide and you do it on its own. So I have a 5-week boundary study that is amazing if you're struggling with boundaries. So go ahead and look at my stuff in my store and also my classes. And I hope to see you in one of my classes. God bless.